Good morning. So this is a continuation of the earlier lecture, lecture 8. So I have named it as lecture 8A. So in this yesterday's lecture, we have seen how to uh, compute or calculate the expectation, the variance, the autocorrelation function or autocovariance function, partial autocorrelation function of the ARMA process. So today we are going to see how this can be used to identify or whether it is possible to identify the ARMA process. So in fact, we have already seen that in the case of AR and MA process, uh, PACF, in the case of AR, PACF help us to identify the order of AR. And in the case of MA, ACF help us to identify the order of the MA process. So whether something similar can be done in the case of ARMA process or not. So the general answer is not possible. However, when the order is very low, some hint or some identification can be made, but not exactly like what is in the case of AR and MA. So let us see this in detail. So if you proceed, let's look at the ARMA PQ model. So you have the ARMA PQ model, xt equal to phi1 xt minus 1 plus phi p xt minus p plus zt plus theta 1 zt minus 1 plus etc. theta q zt minus q. Now, if you multiply by xt minus p here, xt minus k, and on both sides and take expectations, so you can see that and then you also divide by, so what you get is gamma k here. And then for that gamma on the left hand side, similarly gamma k minus 1 you get. Gamma k minus p you are going to have. This is 0. And then uh, in fact this is all 0 subject to the condition that k is greater than q, because then what happens that you will have this quantity is basically uncorrelated. Of course there will be a difference otherwise. So suppose I assume that and then start computing this quantity. So what do you get in this case? Rho. So you divide by gamma 0. So if you have gamma 0, you can see that this is, so why I am making k greater than q? So if I do that, you will have smaller order of x than the order of z. So that's expectation going to be 0, right? So in such a case, if you divide by gamma 0, this leads to an equation gamma rho k, because rho k you are getting because you multiplied by xt and xt minus k, and you have divided by gamma 0. So this leads to rho k, phi 1 rho k minus 1 plus etc. Phi p rho k minus p, and the rest of them are 0 subject to this condition. This condition is required because otherwise I am unable to say. What happens that if that is not the case, then you will have some contributions from here. So what are the autocorrelations of an ARMA PQ process follows almost the same pattern that of an ARP process, but not exactly the same, almost same. The reason being that you are not in a position to say about the first few correlations. So what is that p starting values like rho q minus 1, because this is actually rho q minus p plus 1. So this is q minus p plus 1, q minus p plus 2, etc. and then up to q. So these starting p values have to lie on the solution of this equation. This is actually, I did not consider this here because then there will be, those correlations are going to come over here. So if this is on the solution and this holds if solution holds if k greater than q minus p. This I brought because here I assumed that that is not the case, but otherwise you need to consider them. So there will be q minus p plus 1 initial values, rho 0. Of course, you can see that this is an equation and then start from k greater than q. So naturally, you will have q minus p initial values. So this does not follow that pattern and you can't say anything about those values. So that is where the difficulty arises. So you can also see that the similar phenomena holds in the case of partial autocorrelations also. So that's what it mentioned. The ARPQ process behaves like that of behaves like an MIQ process, but not completely for k greater than p minus q, not prior to that. So initially there are some values which can behave in a very different manner. So you may not be in a position to say, and this p minus q changes. Like I can't say after order 2, or I can't say after order 3. Like if I'm considering 1, 2, p minus q is a different one. Similarly, 2, 1, p minus q is a different one. So that's where the difficulty with respect to the ARMA process. And the computation of partial autocorrelation function, I don't know whether we have mentioned it, but anyway, it is repeating, can be done very easily, because that is actually the last coefficient of IHH, where IHH is the last component of this. This equation we have seen, I mean, the partial autocorrelation function. So we can just, this is just mentioned to how to compute them. But actually what happens that when you have ARMA, the gamma itself is actually difficult to compute manually. So we may not be doing this manually. This whole exercise of PACF computation is generally done with uh, R program, or any other software. So let's look at the ARMA 1.1. So according to this logic that I mentioned in the case of ACF and PACF, you can see that for ARMA 1.1, that Q minus P plus 1 is 1. So you remember here I mentioned that Q minus P plus 1, this is to lie as solution, and this may not follow this pattern after this. So you have this, and what is Q minus P plus 1 when it is 1? When it is 1, Q minus P plus 1 is 1 minus 1 plus 1, which is 1. Which means that one initial value, rho 0, and then exponential decay after k greater than 0. So that we can say. But that is quite obvious. I mean, rho 0 is always 1. So you may not get much out of it. Similarly, if it is 1, 2, now you can see that Q minus P plus 1 is 2. Because Q minus P is actually 2 minus 1, 1 plus 1, 2. So we have two initial values, rho 0, rho 1, and then exponential decay for k greater than 1. So you can see that how suddenly it changes from 1, 1 to 1, 2. Similarly, 2, 2 is Q minus P plus 1 equal to 1. So you have one initial value, but you see this is also one initial value, this is also one initial value, and exponential decay for k greater than 0, here also exponential decay or damped sine wave for k greater than 0. So you see that this is more or less similar. So this is the all problem in the case of ARMA. You're unable to decide or unable to determine the order just by looking at the ACF and PACF. So if it is 2, 1, you can see that this is 0. Now 2, 1 is 0, that means no initial values. So autocorrelations are described by the sum of damped exponential or sine curve. So what happened? This exponential or sine, that depends on whether it is on one side or not. If you have positive and negative, you get a sine kind of a thing. If it is exponential, then it just from one side. So what is the summary of what that we have mentioned? The ACF and PACF of ARMA PQ process are both infinite extent and tail off as lag k increases. But eventually the ACF is determined from the autoregressive part of the model, k greater than q minus p, and PACF is eventually determined from the moving average part of the model. So you may not be, I mean, you can't really determine exact values. That's what happens in the case of ARMA PQ. So what is the conditions for stationarity? So this is how so order determination is very difficult. That's why in the last slide of the previous lecture I have mentioned how we generally go about this. So we generally try to consider how much is the AR significant, how much is the MA significant, take that order and take all the orders which are related to that, and then use some information criteria to decide at the ARMA PQ. Of course, you have the automatic identification system. So if that is there, the computer, actually the software package come up with the one which is useful. But then sometimes, your manual identification and automatic identification need not match. So that one has to be really careful. And I told you, you're not going to commit a great mistake of wrongly identifying. Of course, there is a mistake. But then we know at the end we realize that our model is not quite good. So we need to go back and revise the model. So that's what part of the time series modeling is. No model is actually the final model. So you may have to go back and then revise them, because you start seeing that some of the properties in the residual analysis are not satisfied. We are going to discuss the residual analysis further. So now about the stationarity. So now in the case of AR and MA, we have seen that the stationarity and invertibility, for example, can be discussed through the corresponding AR polynomial and the MA polynomial. The number of, the roots lie outside the unit circle. That's the condition that we want in the case of stationarity. Similar condition in the case of invertibility as well. So the same thing can be continued here because the stationarity is completely determined by the AR polynomial in the case of ARMA also. Similarly, invertibility is completely determined in the case of MA polynomial or in the using the MA polynomial in the case of ARMA model. So, you have a similar kind of structure. The invertibility as well as stationarity is decided by the AR polynomial and the MA polynomial. And this we have seen in the case of ARMA 1-1, if you remember in my last lecture. So let's look at, so this is what about the ARMA model. Now we are going to introduce what is called suppose you have a non-stationary model. So we have actually defined what is called ARMA. Now we know that if you have a non-stationary model, so I'll go back here and then, so if for example, I have an XT process and this XT is unfortunately having some non-stationarity. So maybe, for example, it may have a linear trend. Suppose now we know that. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to define a new process xt minus 1 or 1 minus b times xt. So now this yt, so apart from this, there is no other factors which are affecting to make it non-stationary. So yt could be approximately stationary. Of course, I'm assuming that this is the only reason. So what happens that you have now yt, you may be able to model like an ARMA. Suppose. Okay, then we can call xt as a autoregressive integrated moving average. So P1Q. So I have differenced this xt series once to get an ARMA PQ. PQ, I don't know what is PQ right now. We have to identify. So, but we know that it is stationary series now. So I can model it by an ARMA. But then to get that into that one, we have actually differenced it once. Now suppose instead of once, if you difference d times. So for example, suppose you difference it d times. So I get yt by considering xt minus 1 and d times. So it's like this is once, and again I define difference this series. So I don't use this now because if I use this I have a problem. So I use this notation 1 minus b xt, and again I am going to difference it once. So I'm not saying this is equal. So I consider this. Again I difference once again. So what will be that? That will be 1 minus b times of 1 minus bxt, etc. So this will be 1 minus b to the power of d times xt. Suppose yt equal to this. That means differenced d time, differenced d times. That means the original process difference d times to get new process YT, which is ARMA PQ. In such a case, what we do, what we call XTS. So in this case, we call, so here we call XTS ARIMA P, D, Q. So this D tells you how many times we difference, so that the resultant process is ARMA. Okay, so in such a case we call it as ARIMA PDQ. So that's what we are going to discuss now. So suppose given process xt is not stationary and difference is d times, and then you get the yt, and if the d times difference series yt follows an ARMA PQ, then we call xt as a ARIMA PDQ. So how this is represented? 1 minus b to the power of d phi b xt is equal to theta b zt. If d equal to 0, we don't have to difference. So the given series itself is ARMA PQ. So that is what this is. So this is ARMA PQ. Because we are differencing this, so this is what ARIMA PQ. Now what Box-Jenkins say that every given series can be represented like this for some value of P, some value of Q, and some value of D, approximately, because you really don't know, because given the data, exactly following a model is not, it's not correct to claim, because models are only approximations. So we can see that given the data, I will be able to come up with a D, and I'll be able to come up with a P, and I'll be able to come up with a Q, such that ARIMA PDQ can be approximated as a model for this. This is what the suggestion given by Box and Jenkins, and that's what called Box and Jenkins ARIMA. So for example, you can see that some of the known processes are like that. For example, if you consider random walk, what is random walk? It is ARIMA 010. Why it is 010? You difference a random walk once. What is random walk? A random walk is so a random walk is xt is equal to xt minus 1 plus zt. This is a random walk. So xt minus 1 is equal to zt. Or you can say that 1 minus b xt is equal to zt. That is, so this is like a xt is ARIMA 0, 1, 0. One represents that it is differenced once, and I don't have any AR or I don't have any MA component, because it is a white noise. Already it is a white noise. So that's why XT is ARIMA. So this ARIMA 010 is a random walk. So this is, and similarly you can say AR 001 is a MA process, AR 101 is a ARMA 11, ARIMA 101 is a ARMA 11, ARIMA 100 is a AR1. So we can say all these things. Now, if you suppose you wanted to know, because I have claimed some behavior of the ARMA, of the SCF and PSCF, how does it, because we are not in a position to identify that, I just want to justify this. So I generate a series ARIMA model from this one. So this is a ARIMA 11 with these as the parameters 0.5 and 0.5, and this is a ARIMA 22 because I have 2 here and I have 2 here. So this is an ARIMA 22 with these are the parameters. Of course, there is one difference here. This has variance 1, this is variance 0.5. So you can see that how does it look like. So the series looks like something like this. This is 1 1 and this is 2 2. See here, there are a lot of slightly more variation happens, and this is 100 observation from this series. Now, this is very easy because you can just give this command. This is the R command corresponding to that. This is for simulation, not for the given data. But you can always use, now I haven't written here, you can just use the ACF and PACF to see that how the ACF and PACF look like. So this is the ACF and PACF of the first series, X1 corresponding to this one. So this is X1. So you can see that the ACF look like this. So you see that earlier we were in a position to look at this and tell you. So for example, now you see all of them are within this except this first one. That is of course bound to happen because this is for 0 and that's always 1. This is so what is happening here, 0 is here not denoted, I mean like that is because the scale is different. This is plotted only from minus 0.2 to plus 0.2, whereas this point plotted from 1. So what happens in this particular case is that the you see here all of them look almost within this. So we say that none of the AR and ACF and PACFs are significant. And for which series this is happening? This is happening for a white noise process. That's what we have seen. But you see, this is not generated from a white noise. It is generated from an ARMA 11. This is ARMA 11. So that's where I was telling that ARMA 11, when it is getting to ARMA, it is difficult to identify using the ACF. So we may fit even a white noise for this, saying that this is a white noise, because none of them are significant, right? But you can see that a white noise, what happens that most of them are very close to 0. Whereas here, even though they are not significant, you can see that many of them are almost touching this particular one. So they have slightly, it is not significant, but slightly higher PACF happening. So that indicates that this is not very similar to that of a white noise. Similar the case here, you can see several of them are very close to this boundary. So the point I'm trying to say that it is very difficult to identify the order or the ARMA process from the using at the looking at the ACF PACF plot, the order as well as the behavior, because we have a clear-cut behavior of cutting off the ACF for a MA process, the cutting off the PACF for a AR process, but not for ARMA and PQ. Well, but you can see that maybe after order 2, there's something which is similar to happen. See, for example, here I have order 1, and 1 after that, this is behaving in a particular manner. Here I have, after this, it is behaving in a particular manner. In fact, here what has happened that 1, 2, 3 is not significant, 4, this is significant. So, and some of them are also. So, what it indicates that for A, there is no clear-cut indication how this behaves in the case of a ARMA process. So, this is why a lot of difficulty in identifying ARMA process. So, but one thing we can do, we can actually try with an ARMA process and then try to approximate different ARMA processes you consider, and then see the ACF and PACF of that. Now there is one more type of processes which we are not going into the details of that, I am just introducing them. That's called Armax. This Armax is basically, what happened that so far even though we are learning the univariate processes, there can be some exogenous variable. Endogenous means totally from outside. Endogenous means part of that. So there can be some exogenous variable which can be affecting this. So you have an ARMA equation here, and then there can be some exogenous variable, some variable with its lag, because this is the lag of that. And then, but we are not saying that this is a part of this is exogenous. So in such a case, this process is called an Armax process. So you can consider, say for example, you are considering GDP, and then you can say that, okay, the stock prices also influence that, so I want to consider stock prices also, but there is a difference. Now what happened that when there is a whether stock price is endogenous or exogenous, that we have to see. So this model is not heavily used, but it is mentioned in Stauffer and Shumway and Stauffer. So I thought I'll just mention it. But we are not going to the details. This is not bivariate process, because we are going to have two processes related to this. One is transfer function models and one is multivariate processes. So that time it will be not exogenous, but it is endogenous, means it's a part of this, right? So with that, I think we'll stop this ARMA process. So what we have learned in the case of ARMA, what is an ARMA model, how the ARMA model can be, what are the mean variances, etc. That's in the previous lecture, and the SEF also, SEF, PSEF. And today's lecture, we have seen how this SEF, PSEF, whether it is going to help us to determine the order of ARMA. And in general, we have seen that it won't determine, but lower order, some hints can be given here and there, but otherwise it is not. And in the process, we have now defined what is called general non-stationary process, what is called ARIMA. And then this ARIMA can be actually that if you difference a given series d times, that can be represented, if that can be represented as an ARMA, then we call such a process as ARIMA. So integrated moving average. Okay. Thank you.